there's a further issue which I thought that I would like to deal with this morning, and that is the issue of the relationship between democracy on the one hand and the economic situation on the other. And this problem is not unique to South Africa. I think we're going to experience it as well in Eastern Europe. For a true democracy to survive, what is needed is a sound economic base. And particularly in our case, in South Africa, where there are tremendous expectations on the part of the people, which are going to be expected to be fulfilled by a new government. If that new government cannot fulfill at least part of those expectations, at least reasonable expectations, then in those circumstances we are going to find democracy threatened in the new constitution, in the new South Africa. Because history has shown, and analysis has shown, that when in fact a democratic government cannot fulfill the aspirations of the people, then there is a tendency to turn towards autocracy, a tendency to say we cannot apply the normal democratic principles because we're under pressure from the masses. The demands of the masses are too great. And therefore we must suspend constitutions. We must in fact have the power to do things without the people being able to throw us out of office. Or there is a tendency to apply economic policies which give you a quick fix, but in fact do not provide medium and long-term answers. And what happens in those circumstances, and we've seen it in other parts of the world, is that you enter periods of hyperinflation, that you then ruin your economy, and then you can't solve anything at all. There is, of course, another problem, and that is that politicians, and I should know, I've been in the game, I think, long enough, make promises. They always make promises that they'll do better than the people who are in power. They always hold out greater hope. And Napoleon said politicians are really just purveyors of hope. But what you do is you hold out greater hope. You make out promises and you say, I can solve the problems which other people can't solve. I'm sure that the American experience is no different to that in many other countries in relation to politicians and promises. But the reality is, when that happens in that kind of situation, instability creeps in, and you have the same difficulty that a government which is democratic finds itself unable to solve the problem. So if we look at this situation, the reality is that in order for democracy to survive, we really need a sound economy. And that's the message which I think needs to be conveyed, if I may convey it to you here this morning. And to my mind, if the object of the United States in its foreign policy is in fact to encourage democracy throughout the world, to encourage the correct economic systems, then here is a glorious opportunity in order to encourage that situation in a newly emergent democracy which is about to be born. And my mission, if I may put it to you, is that I do not want only to have the vote for my people. Of course I want it. I want a universal franchise. I've asked for it throughout. But you know, you cannot eat the vote, and the franchise doesn't give you shelter. There are, ladies and gentlemen, enough poor countries in Africa. We do not want our own country to become another one. And that's why I say to you, think carefully about your own role in foreign policy, your own approach to where you want to see democracy, your own approach to where you want to see the correct economic systems. And here, look at South Africa, which is embarking upon what is a great adventure. It is, in fact, in many cases, a unique adventure, in the sense that in other countries where political systems have been changed, either the political party has changed or the government has been overthrown by force. But here you have the rather unique position that the party in power suddenly has seen the error of its ways, suddenly has changed its approach, suddenly has adopted a new line in regard to what should be done, and has admitted the errors of the past. And I think we are fortunate that we've had a person in the form of President de Klerk who's been courageous in order to do that. And that's really why I've been able to take this job. I couldn't have taken this job unless I could agree with what the President wants to do. And the President wants to create a democratic South Africa. We want to see that the people in South Africa have the same rights under our new constitutions as Americans have under their constitution. That's not asking, I think, too much. And also wants to, in fact, solve the economic problems that I have tried to picture for you in a rather encapsulated form this morning. So I put to you a very pessimistic economic scenario. But on the other hand, I say to you that in fact the problems can be solved, and I believe that we have enough goodwill in South Africa in order to solve those problems, and I believe that we will have enough friends in the world in order to assist us on the right road. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.